Hi guys, we chose to use the app Geoboard, which is a kind of like pegboard. We had them when we were kids. They're not as cool now because they're not on the iPad. But we chose to use it to teach the area of a rectangle and a triangle to our students. I'm Dan.
Elizabeth?
I'm Tony.
The standard that we used was 6.G8.1, and that's find the area of right triangles, other triangles, special quadrilaterals, and polygons by composing in rectangles or decomposing into triangles and other shapes. The math practices that we use was 1, 2, 3, 6, and 8, if you guys have covered those yet. And then materials that will be necessary or useful for the teacher is the iPad, obviously, with the Geoboard app, and then connect it to, in this case, the Apple TV, or if you have a smart board, so the whole class can see what the teacher's doing. And then also problems that get relatively harder. So, you start with the rectangles and then move to the triangles to show what we're going to be doing, and then you might need to use the whiteboard or markers. The students will also need the iPad with the Geoboard app, so they can do it after you demonstrate or follow along. And then the worksheet, a notebook or skeleton notes, and then a pencil.
So our objectives today are we're going to identify how to find the area of a rectangle, how to identify the area of the triangle, and then how to explain the formulas for both the area of the triangle and the area of the rectangle. Prior knowledge, they should know how to multiply it, and they should know what a right triangle is.
You guys are sixth graders, by the way. We will start our lesson off by letting you guys use the iPad just to kind of maneuver, because getting used to how you have to move the rubber bands up to the pegs is kind of difficult. And then we'll draw your attention back by putting a rectangle onto our board and having you guys create the same rectangle, and then holding it up so that we know we can quickly, see who's following us. We will then we will then state what the definition of the area is, which is, sorry, I lost my place. The amount of space inside a boundary of a flat object, and then we will have a class discussion on how you guys think you would find the area of this rectangle. We won't make you guys do it. We are hoping that obviously someone is going to say, oh, count all the squares. And then having the discussion be teacher guided, we will be able to guide them to showing that you can just count the spaces along the base or the length of the rectangle.
Each one of these dots.
And then count how many rows you have going up or across.
On the bottom of each dot.
And then in sixth grade, you would know if we did addition, that you can use multiplication to shorten that. So then if it was say 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, 6 times, you could just say 5 times 6, which would then get to you the area equals length times width, or base times height, if you know it that way. This type of discussion, just so you guys know, wouldn't be new to the classroom. It's a very constructivist approach to teaching. So the teacher would probably already have this in her classroom. The kids would already know how to discuss and to really participate in it. We would then move on to a triangle, and to do this, we would start by making a diagonal within our rectangle and asking the class again how you guys would find the area of this. We are hoping that, someone will probably say count all the squares again, but we're hoping that someone would see that it was half, And then we would be able to explain the area equals 1/2 base times height from there. As we went through this discussion, it was very student-based and allowing the students to construct their knowledge on it. So it would be important to bring it back and have the teacher also go through everything that they discussed and kind of compile it all. So on the board, we would just then go from, that's when we would kind of introduce the gradual release model, even though the students wouldn't know that. And we would go through the steps again and use problems that they may see then on their homework or in real life. And then have them take notes. Skeleton notes would be provided for the students that may not be able to take full notes by themselves. And we would then, we will then walk through how to answer both picture problems. So like if you're just given the picture with the numbers on the side, like a regular area problem, or story problems. And then we would allow them to help us answer questions. Oh, what do you think you would do now? Those types of questions to really get them interacting again. And then we will have them answer 3 questions on an exit slip before they can either start their homework if they have time after they finish those 3 questions, or before they leave for their next class or the end of the day or whatever.